6 months. Can you believe it's been 6 months since I purchased my Vespa Sprint, and in that time I've put 2,183 miles on it. And so many people have been asking me about this. This channel is primarily a bike channel, but I've always said if it has 2 wheels and pedals, I'll ride it, and the pedals are optional. When it comes to this Vespa, the scooter content in general, typically not high draw content, except for this one, which has brought new subscribers to the channel. That means more questions that I need to answer, and now that I'm over that honeymoon period, 6 months, 2,000 miles, well, here's how it went, and in this I'll be answering the questions that a lot of you did ask in previous videos, which I'll link down in the description via a playlist so I can put all this together. So let's start with the biggie, the engine, well, just the scooter overall. Has anything broken? Have I had to have any repairs? Well, if you came to hate on Vespa, you're going to be out of luck, because no. And I didn't expect that I would. These iGet engines, they're tried and true by now. They've been around for a while, and Vespa keeps refining them, making subtle variations, and this is, I believe, the best they've ever made, and it has worked for me. And that's a good thing. This is a Vespa. They're very expensive, so I expect reliability out of that money or that expenditure, and so far, no breakdowns. Now, I have had a couple of what I call UUEs, unexpected user experiences. Talk about those in just a minute. Let me interject in here that I'm talking about a Vespa Sprint, but if you're shopping for a Vespa, the Sprint and the Primavera are essentially the same scooter. The difference is the headlight. A Sprint has a trapezoid headlight, a Primavera has the traditional round headlight, but essentially, functionally, they're the same scooter aside from maybe some stickers and graphics, and in this case, mine has the TFT display, but the Primavera, the Sprint, it's going to be the same scooter, just a different headlight. So, no breakdown, no repairs needed. What about the cost of ownership? Well, a Vespa, again, premium product, so the service it's a little pricey. And this one, well, the service intervals really aren't bad. There is the 621 mile service, 1,000 kilometers, and for that, well, here's what all that involved, and it cost me $335 and some odd cents. And I brought my own oil, so you could have added about $25, $30 to that if I didn't bring my oil. Now, there is a 6,000 mile service that'll be coming up. That one's going to be expensive, but it'll probably be a year or two before that. In between then, and I'm closing in on this, the 3,106 mile service, basically it's a diagnostic check, I think, but I will be having to take it to the dealer for that, so there will be an expenditure there. And fairly soon, I figure within the next month or two, I'll be at that point. With all that in mind, let me run down some numbers for you outside of that initial service cost, which again was $337.65. I have it written down here. Other expenditures so far, you can add $24 for the oil that I took to the service. You can add $32 for the gear oil change. Remember, I made a video on that. Not required in the service, but I'm glad I preemptively did it. You can add $41 for the tag. You can add $169 for the 6 months of insurance. I pay it by the year, $338, and that's full coverage. And then there's fuel costs. Now this excels because it does get good gas mileage. We'll talk about that in just a second. But this requires premium fuel, 91 octane. I use Chevron with Techron, and out of the 24 fill-ups that I've made to this scooter, it came with a full tank of gas. I filled it up 24 times up to this point, and rounding up so I don't have pennies, I've spent $80 on fuel. So by my math, not counting the cost of the scooter, everything after that has cost me around $683 over 6 months. That's 31.7 cents per mile. Really good, considering the average vehicle cost per mile is 81 cents. Let's talk about miles per gallon since we're talking about fuel. Mine has dropped a bit since my 1,000 mile update. I think I was at either 87 or 89 miles per gallon. Now it's at 83.4, and there's a reason for that. I can ride it easy around town and easily get 89 or so miles per gallon, but when I'm riding with buddies and we're on open road and the RPMs are up, it seems to be about 77, 79 miles per gallon in that area, so all that averages together to be 83.4 up to this 2,000 mile mark. Here's a correction I need to make. In a previous video, I showed my care routine for this matte finish. This beautiful matte Travolgente Grigio or Grigio Travolgente. It's a matte gray. It looks really good, as long as you take care of it. Now, matte finishes have been known to be finicky and fragile, and that old black Vespa GTS I had years ago was very touchy. You could put a fingerprint on it and it would stay there. Didn't look good. This one, not a fingerprint magnet, so I took it to a buddy that's really into paint finishes, and he said this has a matte clear coat on it, meaning it's as durable as a standard car finish. I actually like it because you can't swirl mark this if you're rubbing on something, so that's good. UV protection, and a strong finish. Something else, not a correction, but more detail. This Sprint package, I talked about this rear grab bar being unique to the Sprint, and this seat. It's a special one. For this model, Vespa does that. I talked about the piping, I talked about the vinyl sides, and the look of this. But what I didn't mention was that this, well, it kind of looks like velour, but it doesn't feel like velour. It feels very tough. I don't know what material it is, but it feels tough. But I don't know if it's waterproof or not. I suspect it is, but Vespa used to have a cover that would come with the seats. It would be down in this hole. Now that's an add-on item, so something else I need to buy. Just thought I would mention it. It looks like velour. It looks cool. It feels good. But it feels more industrial than it looks like it would feel. Now let me talk about unexpected user experiences, because I've had two of them, one of which involves this gas cap. Well, fueling the scooter. I talked about that in my 5 worst things video, where I showed that if you didn't fill it just right, you could splash gas back up. And I knew that was a thing. It's been around as long as modern Vespas, but what I didn't know was these new Euro whatever number they're on with this engine, the tighter emissions make it more prone to having problems if you overfill it. Just listen to this. I'm well versed in fueling up a modern Vespa. I talked about the gas cap prop, the little trick that every Vespa owner knows. However, I overfilled it just to have a clip of overfilling it. But with this new Euro emissions, I was riding later that day or the next day, one of the two, 99-degree weather, higher RPMs, making a run up to Tennessee, and when I stopped the scooter, everything was normal. But 10 minutes later, I went to crank it back, it fired right up, but then it went dead. Immediately, I opened the seat, released the gas cap, and that pressure came out, and then it ran fine. And I had to keep venting it for a couple of days until the evap canister dried out, so that's an unexpected user experience, but it's ran fine since. The second unexpected user experience has to do with the technology. Mine has this TFT display, and it has connectivity. It will connect via Bluetooth to an app, to a headset, to my phone. And there's icons there. You saw that go green, that's telling me the phone is connected. The one below it is a scooter, that's the Vespa Mia app. And I'm not going to go into the app details in this video because, well, that deserves its own videos. There's a lot of functionality there, and it is fun, but this is the first time I've had a scooter with this much tech. And what I didn't know is, sometimes technology just, it can have glitches. And I think this is more the iPhone or the app within the iPhone than anything with the scooter. But out of my 233 logged trips, 5 times or so, I've had the app just crash mid-ride. It would just quit logging, and I can look at my headset and see the icon's gone to gray, so I know the app has crashed or quit working. It doesn't happen often, but it has happened a few times. It's just one of those things with tech, and it's an unexpected experience because, I've never dealt with anything this fancy before. Now I'm showing you the headlight because I'm setting up for a future video. This has an LED headlight, it has front LED running lights, and in Europe, those are the turn signals down low. We have the pods in America. On the back, because we have pods down low, the turn signals, they're not turn signals, but they're also not running lights on this. They're just dead. They do nothing. So stay tuned for that because I have a solution for that coming up. I've had a couple of people ask me about tire wear on this. Well, a couple of thousand miles in, I think I have a pretty good indicator of where it's going to go from here. Now, up front, the tires just, they don't wear as much. There's not as much weight. Plus, this being a Piaggio product, it has that fancy Piaggio front suspension, aircraft inspired. But I want you to look at this front tire, this Michelin City Grip 2. Look how deep the tread is on those tires. And this is after 2,000 miles. That's looking pretty good. But let's go to the back. Still looks good. The wear is doing great, but you can look close and you can kind of see, it's not as much. They're not as deep of grooves as up front. And this is after 2,000 miles. So I can use this to kind of gauge, and I'm pretty sure by the 6,200 mile service, I'll also be needing a rear tire. That means the future, it's going to cost more money because that 6,200 mile service, there's a lot to it, and add a tire on that. I shudder to think how much it's going to cost, but that'll be a couple of years down the road, maybe at least a year down the road. For right now, that's everything I know at the 2,000 mile mark. This has been a reliable scooter. It's actually saved me money versus my car, and I have a very economical car, and it's been super fun to ride. I love the Sprint, and unless someone gifts me a Vespa 946, this will be my scooter for the foreseeable future. If you have any other questions, comment below. Stay tuned. Maintenance videos coming and a mod video. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.